I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the share, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
I'm Dreme, a black woman with many beautiful interconnecting identities. A few I will name at this moment as we get started on this podcast journey together. A Bostonian, born and raised in the inner city, Dorchester and Roxbury neighborhoods, to a teenage single mother who has my whole heart. An educator, I've been working with youth and children since my teenage years, and formally, I have been teaching almost a decade now. That's wild to think about. An entrepreneur, I am the founder of The Chair, a black and brown centered tech platform dedicated to supporting people on their hair journey, where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a more joyous experience. I have a workable site, my prototype. It took me 2 years to build, and now I'm on this adventure that you're currently on with me. My goal for this podcast is to share stories, black stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and hair stories. I want you to leave each episode with the opportunity to gain new insight, just a glimpse into my world or the worlds that are featured on my podcasts, a little chuckle during your day or night, possibly a little anger to encourage you to advocate for justice, and hope to continue learning and dreaming. So come in and listen to the beautiful voices in the chair as they share their stories, starting with me.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, everyone. This is Kiana. Kiana, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kiana Gray. I am from Los Angeles, California. However, I am currently living in Paarl, South Africa. It's right outside of Cape Town, and I am a university professor.
When I got to South Africa, my hair, of course, was already braided. And then when I met you, you definitely said to me, hey, if you need somebody to braid your hair, make sure you go into the city. Here are some thoughts on pricing. You were already giving me the heads up, which I was like, this is the best. This is helpful information. So I didn't feel like I was going in blind. You did it without me asking. It was just something that you willingly gave me when you saw my hair in braids, and I truly, truly appreciated it. And that was before you even knew that I was building a platform to support black and brown people on their hair journey.
Yeah.
Which proves my point that, you know, we're trying to help each other out even if we don't know each other because we're in different countries for the first time and we're trying to figure everything out. There's just so many firsts.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to say thank you for that. And I wanted to know, do you have a memory of falling in love with your hair?
It's crazy. I have a love-hate relationship with my hair because I feel like only recently a lot of black women just didn't know exactly what to do with it because we were just raised to perm it. So I would have to honestly say that I fell in love with my hair last year when I chopped it off. I had a bad fall, and prior to that, it was so hot. It was just so ridiculously hot here. And I remember I was taking out my braids and my hair touched my shoulder and it pissed me off because it was just so hot and I just was so annoyed and I cut it. And then I was like, forget it. I'm going to just cut all of it off. I've never cut my hair off. I've always been fearful of it because there's just that your head is too big or your features are too big, that type of negative, racial, racist, white supremacy self-talk. And I was like, forget it. I'm cutting it all off. And when I cut it off, felt like freedom. You really do feel free and powerful when you cut your hair off. And then when it started to grow back, I was able to embrace my hair in a different way. And it's like you really do release this energy when you cut off your hair and you start over. And because you also really see your face. I know sometimes with braids that are like different styles will kind of cover your face a bit, but when you don't have any hair on your head, you see your face. So you're able to see yourself more. And I think that's also powerful. You see your features better. And then when, like I said, my hair started to grow back, I was able to more embrace what is growing from my head and how strong it is and how strong I was to take that leap of just chopping it all off because it was just too hot outside. It was so hot.
That's so warms my heart. I've been hearing a lot of stories of people chopping their hair off, and they chop it off because they're chopping off the perm, or they're trying to find themselves, or they have alopecia, but being like, it is hot and I just can't deal.
I couldn't do it, girl. It was so hot. I was so angry.
Is a new one, like to begin. But then you're like, yeah, chop it off, and then like here are all the reasons that this is amazing. But the beginning, like the irritation.
But the beginning was simply, I was annoyed that my hair touched my shoulder. I was so pissed off. Oh, girl, I was pissed. I was like, nope, I'm cutting all this off my head. The beginning was not spiritual or deep at all.
And now with your hair growing back and you're really talking about this idea of loving your hair and the freedom of it, does it feel the same with hair going back to braids or straightening it or blow drying it? Do you still feel that same sense of freedom?
Yes, because I feel more, I've connected more to the idea of power and strength. Like I'm on this journey where I want to feel more powerful. I want to feel strong, and I want to feel it from head to toe. So my hair now, it feels strong. Like there's no dead ends and there's no edges thinning, and it's none of that stuff that can sometimes occur when you're putting chemical or back-to-back protective styles can sometimes do that. My focus now, I know a lot of people, a lot of women very often focus on length, but I'm focusing on strength because I feel like how my hair was before, it was very almost brittle because I was always putting it into some type of style. And it was because I was afraid to just wear my hair. And I don't know what ingrained in me that's an issue. But now it's strong and it's thicker, and that's the focus for me. So I think my perception or relationship with my hair is different because I don't want it to just be long. I want it to be strong and healthy. I'm viewing it differently.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. Do you think that your kids notice your hair journey or have asked about your hair journey?
No. And I think it's because of a couple reasons. I teach a specific community, and very often that community desires a close proximity to whiteness. So even if they do naturally have an afro, or even if they do naturally have very curly hair, you more than likely will not see it. So unfortunately, it's still the old idea of straightening your hair looks unkempt if it's, in its fully natural style. And while there are some girls that I see that wear a more natural look, it's not as many as I thought coming to Africa. And that's probably just my own ignorance. But I just thought that I would come here and just see a land of afros, but that hasn't been what it is.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you're in Pearl, right? So, because when I was in Cape Town, where I was teaching, there was afros all day. Afros, there was braids.
Oh, I wish.
You had all the styles, and there was always a conversation that I was having with students because they were always like, "Who did your braids?" I paid for braids, and they asked me how much I paid for it, and I told them the price, and they were like, "You got scammed." And and they were like explaining to me, they're like, no, they shouldn't have did that to you. But when I wore my afro out a lot all the time because of the heat of the continent, my hair loves it. My hair, when I mean thrives in that heat, my afro is the biggest ever. And so I was always asked if I had a wig on. If my afro was always asked if it was a wig. And I thought, I was like, never have I ever been asked if my afro was real. So that was the first time I experienced that was in South Africa. It was like a regular thing. Like every time I had my afro out, once a day, people were like, "Oh, where'd you get it? Like, I would love that wig." And I'm like, "No, this is mine." And so they would come up and they're like, "Oh, can I touch it?" Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Black people were having a different conversation because, right, like, so they're coming up and they're like, "Wow, your hair is so healthy." Healthy was always the word choice, which for me was the biggest compliment. Instead of it being like, "Oh, it's so long," for me it was healthy. When I went to the braiding shops, because I would go with my hair in 2 braids, or I would braid it down purposely because I always got charged more when they figured out my hair was more. So they would double the price, but they would be like, "This is so healthy." And so we would have a lot of conversations about hair health. Yeah. It was happening all the time, from strangers on the street to my kids in my classroom. I think it's interesting that even though you're in a town right outside of Cape Town, that we're having 2 different conversations in the classroom.
Yeah, it's completely different. But listening to you, I realized when I was on the Eastern Cape, I did see more. But being on the Western Cape, no, it's not like that at my school, unfortunately.
No, and the Western Cape was 80% white. That proximity to whiteness and how whiteness has formed a relationship of the Western Cape, and that makes sense. But then again, they always go, when they talk about my blackness, then the next thing they talk about is my Americanness. Yeah. The fact that I wear my hair out and I'm confident about it, they're like, "Oh, that's an American thing," which is a different conversation compared to America. It was like, no, it's not an American thing. It's a Black thing.
See, they don't consider me Black here. So here I'm colored. That could also be why it's just a completely different conversation. Because they don't consider me Black here. It's like colored and then American. So the idea of me pressing my hair is more of what the idea of what I should do and not wearing my hair curly or wearing an afro. Yeah. Did they question your Blackness here?
They didn't question they assumed I was Black. They were trying to figure out what type of Black South African I was for a while.
Yeah, what tribe?
Yeah, what tribe. Or they were like, oh, you're not South African. And then they would try to guess the African country until I started speaking.
Oh, okay.
And then they'd be like, oh, you're American. They're like, oh, that's no. And I'm like, yes.
I could literally hear that conversation.
Yeah, right, yes.
Only imagine. Like, no, that's not right.
No, yeah. It happened a lot. So I was always like, yeah, So having, conversations about my Blackness in relation to my Americanness was a big deal. Especially, as a Fulbrighter with the four of us, there was me, there was two white women, one biracial woman who could pass as white, or she would fall into the colored category.
Yeah.
Depending on who you were talking to. When we were all together, people also thought it was fascinating that all of us were together. Because they were like, all of you are different racial groups. Why are you hanging out? And then when they figured out we were all American, they would be like, oh, this makes more sense. We ended up having all these conversations related to hair and identity and nationality regularly. It was an everyday thing.
That's interesting. It's also interesting because this is viewed as the Rainbow Nation where everyone should mix. So seeing that shouldn't take people aback so much, but it does because I don't think I've ever seen South Africans mix like that unless it was like a soccer game or something. Like I'll see little friendships or I'll see little interracial relationships, but nothing. If I see a table of people, there might be one or two Blacks, one or two coloreds, or one or two whites, and the majority is something else. It's a very interesting, confusing, race-related country.
Because, I love to dance, so I would go to the clubs. And so the clubs is where I saw a lot of people mixing. But even that changed depending on the club you went to.
Right.
And so you were still having these different conversations about, oh, you go here if you're more interested in this type of music. You go here if you want this type of vibe. But when they said vibe, they really meant people. And so for me, I was curious. So I was going to everything and I was like, oh, this is what they meant. This area was considered more classier. Or if you wanted to dance more, you would go to this type of club. But then different people were in that same space.
Right.
So when it came to thinking about purposeful mixing, that is still a big question. That was definitely still a big question when I was in South Africa.
Yeah.
Kiana, thank you so much for sharing your stories in the chair. I truly, truly appreciate you.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. It means the most.
Of course. I believe in what you're doing. I think it's, like I was saying, it's just so important to allow voices to be heard and different experiences, and that connectivity is really important. So thank you for inviting me. I love doing this.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I, of course, would love your continued support. Let me know what you think of this episode by doing all the things. Subscribe, comment, and come back next week, every week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Or if you are like me, enjoy that moonlight and that one star under all your city lights. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
Hold I gotta wait? How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
We support her. Shit.
Do your.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story. Where we share